There was an article recently from a very popular this manga artist who kind of said some kind of shady things and all that, involving say with anime fans, manga, telling you should go out there, buy a manga full price and go nuts. So I'm gonna read you the article on Twitter. The manga artist known as Hirio Oku, who is the author for the adaptation of Gantz. He's also working on that other manga in Yashiki. I'll just straight up with that series. I don't personally get it, but I've read a little bit of that on Crunchyroll, but it's a little bit but he's always done some kind of promotional work and all that for his manga, and he's always been big on retweeting stuff, and he's been his stupid shit Steve-O bouncing a ball into women's cleavage, and most noticeably he's gotten a bit of a reel about the necessities of creative work. And I will read off this article and all that, what he actually said. This might shatter some kids' illusion, but no manga creator can keep producing comics if people are just read through them at the store without buying them, or buy them from Yahoo auctions or used bookstores. Creators just can't do it, but there are so many adults who will get their manga that way, even though they know the situation. If you want to support a manga creator, please buy your manga at list price so often as you can. A significant part of the response revolves around readers suggesting some system by which authors can get some revenue from sales from used bookstores. He's had this sort of before and all that, where he kind of came at the FMA adaptation and the Attack on Titan one, since he raised eyebrows and with his blunt remarks about their adaptations, since they're very controversial, especially with the Attack on Titan one taking a bunch of characters out, changing a couple of them, and then adding into the FMA movie is taking a huge part of taking the Chevalier out the entire movie, which is a big thing in FMA, which is kind of addressing kind of racism in that in the whole series. So that was a very big thing, and he's got to talk about that. But one of the things especially where I guess he was more kind of addressing how people do it in Japan, since obviously there's a lot more manga out there, and so I've seen a couple of people do that they'll read a bit of the volume or part of it, and they'll just put it down, and then just that'll be it for them and all that, which there's not really any rule about that. You can't just go to a guy in a bookstore as he's looking at a volume and reading it, you go, hey, make sure you don't read all of that, motherfucker. You can't do that. I mean, you have you can do online, obviously, that you got stuff out there the Shonen Jump subscription, you got you got Crunchyroll as well, you got all this stuff, and it's telling all the authors and all that to pay full price every time. Now this is the thing where I'm a little bit okay, because then it's you're talking as well about used games, where it's well, the creators don't really get the author if you get them at Best Buy, and you get the sales and all that, and it's very understandable. I've said many times that you should support your favorite artists and all that, people that you really enjoy and all that that, and that's why it's if you can, at least if you got the money, and if you got the ways and the know-how and all that, then you should support them in either way, whether it's digitally, whether it's physically, that's what I like to do with the series that I love and enjoy. I like to buy and support them. But then again and all that, I'd like to point out that a good majority of example of a lot of my Fairy Tail volumes as well, a lot of them did come from eBay, a lot of them did come from other side. I do most part buy most of my volumes brand new, straight off Amazon when they come out, and that gives a portion of that back to the author and all that, and it's you can't really help the fact that the used market and all that is something that's pretty much always going to exist regardless, because a lot of people don't want to pay full price for things. Some people, unfortunately it is and all that, will just read and watch things, or just any utensils or any stuff, they will just have that for a very low price or just for free. People will just illegally download games, watch TV shows and all that, or read manga and their anime on that. That's why things like Kiss Anime and also as well torrent sites like Pirate Bay exist, because there will people that will just upright just refuse to pay for stuff, or just see it on legal site, and as much as a shame it is and all that, it is a part that is like, unfortunately, at this point, it's becoming a necessity for a lot of manga, because that's the thing. Not everyone, like, has the luxury to pay full price of things, and, like, especially as well, why do you think you go to a food store, like, at night, and, like, saying, like, oh, this is a reduced price and all that? I'll get that, like, because not everyone can pay full price and everything, and, I don't know, it's a very interesting thing. I know exactly why he, like, you know, what he's trying to say, and then saying, like, you know, like, but then saying, like, oh, like, some kids illusion, saying, like, you know, oh, we can't, like, no one can, like, we can't just keep going running forever and all that, like, you know, we get, like, a lot of that lives off of royalties and all that. It isn't just that like, you know, the actual magazine and all that gives us, like, this huge sum of money, like, every month and all that, like, how most people do. That's why, like, especially when you're in kind of, like, in the entertainment world, especially, that's how a lot of people live off, like, especially music artists and all that. It's like, they live off their royalties. That's how they, like, pretty much get, like, live on day by day and all that. That's pretty much how they do it. Although, like, it's an exception with, since they're huge fucking people like that, they get massive money. Like, manga artists is a little bit different. So, like, I would like to curious like, what you guys think in the comment section down below about this and all that, and what do you think about, like, the Gans, like, author kind of telling people, saying you had to pay full price for fucking manga, you had to pay full price and all that. Personally, my stance on it is that, if possible, I always support, like, buying your stuff legally, you know, getting your subscriptions, you know, all that. However, though, if you aren't in a scenario, and I always say, like, I'll say this, if you aren't in a scenario and all that, where you don't have a lot of money, haven't got a job, you don't get that much money from your part-time and all that, you got bills to pay, you got babies to feed, you know, you got all this responsibility and all that, then it's okay and all that. But as long as every now and then you do support the stuff that you love by, you know, even if it's just, like, occasionally buying a volume of, like, one of your favorite series, or getting that one anime DVD or Blu-ray, you know, once in a blue moon, you know, that, then, to me, but then it's such a, like, a very dark, like, line, like, crossing that line and all that, it's, like, it's very hard to, like, differentiate and all that, and I think, like, that's, like, you know, at the end of the day, like, I feel like you guys know in your heart and all that what's right, and that's, at the end of the day, the only thing, as per usual on this channel, that matters is you guys and your opinions. So I'm going to end off there, ladies and gentlemen. So thank you very much for watching. As always, really am looking forward to hearing what people have to say about this news article, because I'm definitely interested about this one. But thank you very much for watching, as always, and I will see you guys, though, next time.